Did you shoot Aaliyah?
No.
Is this the month of April?
Yes.
Did you kill Aaliyah?
No.
This is Chelsea Huggett. Her daughter, 2-year-old Aaliyah Branum, was sent to hospital after fracturing her skull. Police bring in Chelsea for questioning. Later in this interview, I also have her polygraph test.
She's got bleeding from here all the way to here. On top of that, there's bruising everywhere on her head. You see those 4 bruises on her head? That was inside her hairline, everywhere. Everywhere. Her entire head, her entire body is covered with bruising, including her entire spine. There's a bruise on every little, little knuckles on your spine, or you want to call it there's a bruise on every dang one. How do you not know? Do you get into a rage and not know what you do? That's the reason?
No, because I would never take my anger out on her.
Okay. And you're not. I'm going to get the administrator. Okay? He's going to come right in here. It's very simple. He's going to ask you some questions. He's going to ask you, and it's going to be no reason to even worry about it. Okay? All right?
I want to also say that, yes, I was angry at Jason and I was standing out in the hallway and I went and I sat on my bed in the bedroom and was just rocking back and forth. And I did say to Aaliyah that Daddy left us. He doesn't want to be with us anymore. And that's probably what the girls heard. But I did not say it in an angry tone at all. I was bawling my eyes out.
I believe that. I believe that. I don't believe you want Aaliyah to be dead. I think you'd bring Aaliyah back right now.
I would if I could. I would go on her place.
And I believe that too. I believe that. But I believe that you got pissed off emotionally and did something that you didn't mean to do. Pushed her down, made her hit her head. But she has got bruising all over her head, all over her body. Her little 2-year-old body has got bruising all over it. It just ain't fair. It just ain't fair.
So she died?
Yeah. And cause of death was a fractured skull.
Who told you that?
The deputy. Well, detective, sorry. I know him as deputy.
And how'd she get a fractured skull?
That I don't know.
What do you mean?
I wasn't... The time that I believe it happened, I was at a doctor's appointment for my baby that's on the way.
What time do you believe it happened?
Between 1:30 and 4, because I left
in the morning or the afternoon?
Afternoon.
1:30 and 4 o'clock. What day?
Thursday.
Yesterday.
Yes.
So you're saying that she's been dead since yesterday?
No, she died this morning.
Right.
And
so what do you think happened yesterday between 1:30 and 4?
Something extenuating to where when I got home, she had a swollen lip and her face was swollen.
Right. All right. So when the deputies came out after you called 911, what happened yesterday? You called 911 yesterday?
No, I didn't.
By the way, if I can say, if you do like this video, I do tell true crime stories and I do provide police interview footage. So if you like the best of both worlds, please hit subscribe.
You came home from a doctor's appointment, your 2.5-year-old's got a swollen face and a busted lip, and you called 911?
I asked the people that were watching her, and he came in and he's like, oh, she must have bitten her lip.
Where was your lip busted at?
Right here.
On the top?
Yeah.
Top lip? And bruised on her face?
Yeah.
Which side?
She had bruises all over her forehead and on her face. And I admit that I was wrong for not calling 911 right away and not taking her to the hospital when I should have.
Right.
I was in the wrong for that, and for that my little girl's blood.
Yeah. Yeah, she's dead for sure. So then, what is all the other stuff that the detectives I've been talking to? What in the world are they talking about? Pesticide, bug spray. What's all that got to do with any of this? If you think that it happened between 1:30 and 4 o'clock Thursday afternoon,
me and Cassie and Brian Cassie and Brian, discovered that she could have possibly gotten into poison later on that night.
So you don't know that for a fact?
No.
Okay, so it really doesn't have a darn thing to do with her dying?
I don't know.
Okay. So we're not even going to discuss that part of it, all right? Because until toxicology comes back from the medical examiner's report, it's a non-issue. What we're going to deal with, you and I, is going to be how we presume she died, and we presume she died as a result of blunt force trauma. Okay? Is that a fair statement?
Yes.
Okay. Prior to 1:30 on Thursday, did she have any injuries on her? Did Aaliyah have any injuries at all?
She had a rash.
Okay, that's not an injury.
Well, and the bruising started popping up everywhere.
So the bruising was before Thursday at 1:30?
Yeah. Okay,
so it didn't happen between 1:30 and 4 o'clock Thursday. It happened before that?
Yes.
Okay. So who had her before that?
I did.
Okay. So how did the bruising happen?
I don't know.
Only you do know.
No, I don't. It just started showing up.
It doesn't magically appear. We're not talking about Lucky Charms, all right? Bruises don't magically appear on people.
I know that.
All right? Something has to happen to a person, right? Somebody has to grab you. Somebody has to hit you. Something physically has to happen. You got to fall on a bush. You get drunk, you fall down, bust your head, leaves a bruise. But something happens. She get drunk and fall down?
No, but she
fall out of a tree?
No, but
she get run over by a car?
No.
Did anything happen to her before you guys went into your bedroom Thursday or even Wednesday night? Did anything happen to her?
She was playing outside with Brian, and when she came back in, her hands were swollen, and I noticed...
When was that?
This was Wednesday.
Wednesday what time?
Wednesday afternoon.
Before lunch, after lunch?
After lunch.
Well, what about her hands now?
They were swollen, and she didn't want anybody touching them because they hurt.
Okay. Did she say what happened?
No.
Dog bite her?
No.
Get stuck on the lawnmower? We don't know what happened to her.
No.
Her hands were just swollen up. You took her to the doctor?
Yes, I did.
What doctor did you take her to?
I brought her to Citrus Memorial.
Okay. And what did they do for her?
They told me to give her 1 tablespoon of Benadryl every 6 hours as needed.
So you took her home, gave her Benadryl.
They also discovered that she had a UTI.
Okay. Not uncommon, babies and people to have UTIs.
And they also gave me amoxicillin for her.
Okay.
And
so pretty basic medical stuff, right?
Yeah.
They didn't notice any bruising. They didn't notice anything wrong with her eyes. They didn't notice anything wrong with her ears. They gave her a pretty good checkup?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And what time were you at CMH on Wednesday?
From just after...
What time did you leave CMH on Wednesday?
6 o'clock.
8? Okay. So at 6 o'clock on Wednesday, when you left the hospital, Aaliyah didn't have any marks or injuries on her. No bruises, no bleeding, no busted lip, nothing, right?
No.
So what happened Wednesday night?
My mom was the one that brought me and Aaliyah home. Wednesday night,
Look, let's just stop right here for a second. All right, Chelsea. I know that you've been going through this, and a lot of people have asked you these questions, and we all ask you these questions because we speculate what the truth is, right?
Yeah.
So we're all trying to sit here and make sure that we're on the same page, and that's the same thing that we're going to do with you. We're going to make sure that you're on the same page that we are when we're done here tonight. Okay? So we know that we have a brief window between Wednesday and Thursday that some trauma, and I'm going to call it trauma, happened to Aaliyah. All right?
Yes.
Now, the only person who had care, custody, and control of that baby during that time was you. Okay?
And Cassie and Brian.
Okay. You are care, custody, and control. You are at the house. You're in charge. You're responsible. You're the mother. Right? Care, custody, and control. That's you. No one else. All right? You've told the detectives that you had a falling out, for lack of a better word, with your boyfriend, right?
Yes.
You had a falling out with your boyfriend. What time was that? Was that Wednesday night or Thursday night?
That was Wednesday night.
Wednesday night.
Because
Imagine that. Wednesday night.
he got mad that my mom was at the house.
Right. You got mad because somebody called him out on smoking K2 or some crap, right?
That was me.
Yeah. Right. So he takes off. Right? He beats you.
Well, no, he was mad that my mom.
Look at me.
He was mad
right?
that
I want you to look at me when you're talking. All right. I don't want you looking up in the air at the sky. I want you looking straight at me when we're talking. All right.
He was, because my mom brought us home and I got the antibiotics and Benadryl into Aaliyah's system. My mom was holding on to her, and I left at 6:45.
Okay. When did your boyfriend leave?
He left around 7:30
At night.
at night. Yes.
Wednesday night, 7:30.
Yes.
So you got out of the hospital at 6 o'clock. You got
Yes.
home, and Jason's his name.
Yes.
Jason leaves at 7:30.
After I picked him up from work, and he discovered that my mom was still at the house because he was still angry with my mom for calling DCF.
Right. Okay. So your boyfriend leaves, and then what do?
I don't talk to him until.
What do you do with Aaliyah?
She stays on my mom's lap.
Okay, your mom leaves.
My mom left when Cassie took Aaliyah and her girls and gave them a bath. And
Look at me.
my,
All right.
My eyes are
No
burning.
BS. Look straight at me. All right. This is a truth moment for the two of us. All right. I'm going to tell you the truth, and you're going to tell me the truth. All right. We're going to get through this. It's not going to be any back and forth. You're going to look at me. We're going to talk. Don't keep looking away. All right. Your mom leaves. Cassie's done with her babies, giving them a bath. You and Aaliyah are in the bedroom together. What's going on?
After I give Aaliyah her
medicine, got through that already.
Yeah, I put her to bed. And
which bed?
Her bed, the playpen.
All right. How'd you put her in bed?
I gently laid her down. And
you gently laid her down?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay. How gently did you lay her down?
Just laid her down to where she was comfortable, and I covered her up and gave her stuffed animal. And I walked out of the room.
Okay. When you come back in the room, what'd you do?
After this was...
Look at me. You know the first thing I think of when people can't look me in the eye and talk to me straight is that they're lying to me. You understand that?
All
right.
My eyes are burning.
My eyes are burning too. I've been up as long as you have. No BS.
Okay.
No BS, Chelsea. Tell me what happened.
This was, I then went out and I got a hold of Jason, and I asked
And Jason's
him,
not coming back.
No,
No. And you go back in the bedroom. What happened?
I didn't go back in the bedroom.
Where'd you go?
I stayed in the living room. And then I figured, Jason had texted me saying goodnight and all of this. So I figured, I should bring him his cell phone charger because he would need to charge his cell phone. I didn't want to leave him without a phone.
Okay. So did you take it to him?
Yes, I went
He decided to come back with you?
No,
No.
I went.
So you came back to the house, right, by yourself?
Yes.
All right. And
Well,
then what time was that?
Cassie was with me.
Right. What time did you get back to the house?
After 1 o'clock.
What'd you do?
I went in and checked on Aaliyah.
Right. How was she?
She was fine. She
Right.
was sleeping.
Any marks on her?
No.
Bruises, bleeding, anything?
No.
Nothing. So it's at 1 o'clock in the morning on Thursday morning? Thursday night?
Yes.
Right? Thursday morning. She's fine.
Yes.
Okay. Then what happens?
Jason starts
No.
cussing and calling me names and calling Cassie names.
What did he call you?
He basically said that
Not basically. What did he call you?
he was angry with me
About what?
for not letting him come home.
Right? What did he
Right.
call you?
Call me a bitch.
Oh, well, that's not the worst thing in the world. Right?
No. Yeah.
Okay. So what? He called you a bitch and hung up the phone. All right. Called Aaliyah a bad name.
No, he didn't say
No?
anything about Aaliyah.
Okay.
He
You say something about this baby? Is this his baby?
Yes, this is his
Did
baby.
he call it something?
No.
No? Okay.
But he did call Cassie a pill popping.
Okay. Maybe she is. I don't care.
And I was upset that he was drinking because he had promised me that he would quit drinking for the
Okay.
sake of Aaliyah.
All right. And he doesn't. So what?
And I do get upset,
Mm-hmm.
but
What happened? How'd you get upset?
I was very angry.
Mm-hmm.
But I
Sure.
I stood in the hallway with my fists clenched and just was standing there. Cassie and Brian were standing in front of me trying to calm me down.
Right?
And the two girls, Carly and Valerie, were like, Aunt Chelsea, are you okay?
Mhm.
I'm like, just...
Then what happened?
I went in the bedroom and sat on my bed.
Mm-hmm.
And
Where's Aaliyah?
she's in her bed.
All right. She wake up?
No.
She didn't wake up. She slept through all that.
I wasn't screaming or yelling or anything.
Just clenching your fists and acting all pissed off.
Yeah. I was trying
All right,
to calm
then what
myself down. I go over to her. I start...
And she's fine at that
brushing-
point.
Yeah.
No bruises, no bleeding, no nothing. About what
Yeah.
time is that?
Around 2.
2 o'clock in the morning.
Yes.
Still fine. Right? What happens?
I start gently brushing back her hair and saying that Daddy left us. He doesn't want to be with us anymore.
Mhm.
And I leave it at that. I walk out of the room because I knew I still had
Anger. Sure.
So I walked away and I left her in her bed.
Then what?
I went and I sat in the living room and was watching TV with Cassie and Brian
And then for how long?
until I went to bed around 3:34.
Okay. Went to bed around 3:30 or 4. Where was Aaliyah?
She was in her bed sleeping.
In her bed. No bruises, no bleeding, no injuries.
No.
Right? No bleeding. Injuries. Nothing. Right? So what
Well,
happened?
Brian had said that he had cleaned out her ears
Mhm.
and there was this pus that came out of her ears.
So he told you that 4 o'clock in the morning?
He told me that when this was Thursday night because she was
What time Thursday?
after I got back from taking Cassie to meet one of her
So-
children's
Okay, so they clean pus or wax out. Okay, that's fine. She didn't have any bruises. She wasn't bleeding from her nose or her mouth.
She had the bruises on her head.
We're at 4:00 in the morning on Thursday morning, and you're telling me she doesn't have any bruises, bleeding, or injuries.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
That's at 4:00 in the morning, this morning, Thursday morning, this past morning, right?
Yes.
So she doesn't have nothing.
Yes.
All right? Now what happens?
I go to sleep.
Right? Did you tell Detective Fawcett you got the baby out and was rocking her?
I might have done that.
You might have told him, or you might have actually done it?
I might have told him that.
Why would you tell him that? Did it happen?
Yes, it did.
It did happen. So you don't know whether you want to lie to me or not.
I did get her and rock her because she was whining.
So what time did you do that?
Right before I went to bed.
At 4:00 in the morning.
Yes.
When you're still all pissed off because
no,
Jason won't come home.
I was calmed down by that point.
Okay. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you a couple of questions just to calibrate the machine to your voice.
So that's the end of her initial police interview. He's now going to conduct the polygraph test. He's not going to tell her the results. He's going to continue to question her. I'll come back at the end to tell you the outcome of this case.
Remember, all of your answers are yes or no. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay. Did you ride with Detective Foss today?
Yes.
Did you go to the hospital today?
No.
You didn't go to the hospital?
Yes, I did.
I thought you did. So why'd you lie?
Just slipped my mind.
Slipped your mind going to the hospital, getting checked out because your baby wasn't moving?
Yeah, I was more concerned about what was going on.
Did you shake Aaliyah?
No.
Is this the month of April?
Yes.
Did you kill Aaliyah?
No.
Are we in the city of Inverness?
Yes.
Going to lie to this question. Are you pregnant?
No.
Keep your voice up just like it has been. Am I wearing a white shirt?
Yes.
Very good. That wasn't so hard, was it?
No.
Went through the first set of questions. Didn't trick you. Didn't change anything. Didn't hit you with a phone book while your eyes were closed or anything like that, right? Here's the deal. We're going to go through and I'm going to ask you the same questions all over again. We're going to run a second chart that confirms the results of the first. Okay. Normally what happens, people that come in here, they want to sit down and take one of these, they're all nervous. They're all kind of spun up, right? And you were probably a little nervous when you first came in here too. You feeling better now? Mm-hmm. Good. That's what we like, all right? Because what happens is when we go through the first set of questions and you've still got that nervous, it's called stress, all right? That stress builds and builds and builds and builds, all right? People that are being truthful with us, that stress dissipates, all right? It goes away. People that are not being truthful with us, i.e. they're lying, that stress continues to build up. So as it builds up, the machine's ever able to pick that stress, shows me exactly what it looks like, tells me you're lying, okay, or the person's lying. So that's what we're going to do now. Same questions all over again. Remember, all your answers are yes or no, and I'll prompt you on the two questions I want you to lie to. Do you understand?
Yes.
First question. Is your name Chelsea?
Yes.
I want you to lie to this question. Is there a computer on the table?
No.
You have to, right now, tell me what happened to Aaliyah. Tell me.
She was in bed and we actually have a toddler mattress in the
I saw it. I was there.
bed.
Come here. Put your hands back here. All right.
And she would climb up on...
No. That is not the answer to my question. My question, Chelsea, is what did you do to Aaliyah?
I didn't do anything.
You did. You can tell me all types of things. I can sit here and make stuff up. I can say she fell out of the tire swing. I can say she jumped off the back of the car. I can say all kinds of crap. I want to know what you did to Aaliyah. I want you to tell me. That baby deserves it. She does. You're her mother, for crying out loud. You gave birth to that child and took her life. And you need to tell me how you did it.
I didn't take
You
my daughter's
took
life.
That baby's life.
No, I
You
didn't.
did. You did. As a result of what you did to her, she's dead. Never coming back. Dead. It's not a game anymore. She's not a pawn for you anymore. She can't help you with Jason. She's dead. Why is she dead, Chelsea? What happened? I'm asking you. For God's sakes, I'm begging you. You want to. I know you want to tell me. You got to find it in your heart to get it out. I promise you're going to feel better. I promise that baby may forgive you someday. But not until you own up to it. It won't happen. There'll never be an ounce of peace in your life. Never. That I know. What happened to Aaliyah?
I don't know.
You're a liar. You want to know why I know you're a liar? This is why you're a liar. Because this is your baby this morning. This is your baby this morning. You want to know why I know you're lying? That baby didn't wake up like that. That just didn't magically appear. You did this to her. Want to bet? You sure did. You know? Oh, she had a little tiny busted lip. Her lip is detached from her jaw.
Oh,
It's detached. That's not a little bitty crack. It's sickening. You think she fell through the floor and that happened to her?
no.
Hell no.
Brian did that.
Brian did. No, she was fine when she was with Brian. She was fine. She comes back in. She hit her head on the door. You knew about it. And what'd you do? You did nothing. And she wasn't that way when she went to bed with you Thursday morning. She was fine. That's what you said. She was fine. She didn't have anything. And she wakes up like that. Is that the story you want to take to your grave? I don't know how my 2.5-year-old little girl died. Is that the story you want to be known to have told to everyone? You know how much, you think your friends are going to believe that story? You think your family's going to believe that story? They're not, sweetheart. They're not.
I didn't kill my little girl.
You may not have realized what you're doing. I'm not going to say accidentally, because you don't accidentally do this.
I didn't do that to her.
I may somewhat believe that you didn't realize what you were doing, or you didn't realize what you had done was going to cause this to happen. I can semi-believe that, but I don't for a second believe that you didn't do it. Not for a second.
I didn't do it. I swear.
Not for 1 second. I'm not Detective Foss. I'm not your parents. All right. I'm not your best friends. All right. This is all we do, is deal with people who kill children.
I didn't
happens.
kill her.
What you did to her caused her death.
I didn't do anything to her.
Well, that's obviously a lie, isn't it, sweetie?
It wasn't me.
It's a lie, isn't it?
I never
Sure.
beat my child.
You know how many people come in here and say it wasn't me? Believe me, officer, it wasn't me. And that's childish. That's childish for an adult woman who's already had one baby and having another to come in and say, believe me, I don't know. That's something my 10-year-old would say. So when do you think you're going to start taking responsibility for killing your child?
I didn't kill my child.
No.
I never raised my hand in anger to her.
Right? In anger, you may not realize you were angry, but you were darn sure angry because your boyfriend left you. And you were darn sure angry about your circumstances.
I would never take it out on her.
No?
No.
You may have not realized, and I told you that I am not going to say accident because that's damn sure not an accident. You may not have realized what you were doing was going to cause that to happen. And you're probably sorry as can be right now. But it happened. It happened. And it's time for you to own up. And it's time for you to take the responsibility of a mother.
I'm not going to confess to killing my daughter when I didn't do it.
Well, I'm going to tell you that you failed your exam, all right? Because you shook her.
No, I
I'm going to tell you
didn't.
that. And I'm going to tell you that you didn't just not see any of these signs of your child, either the night you put her to bed or the night you came back home and you woke her up and you gently rocked her, right? You gently rocked her. You gently put her down in the crib. And then you gently rocked her. You gently killed your baby.
I didn't kill my baby.
Chelsea, you need to be strong for Aaliyah. All right? You need to be strong for her because she can't do it for herself. Can she?
No.
She can't. Not anymore. If she'd been given the chance, who knows? Right? Who knows what she could have accomplished in life? Who knows what she could have been? But that's just, it's been taken away. And we can't give it back to her. But what we can give back to her is just a little bit of dignity. Right? We can give you hope because you're going to have another baby. Right? We can give you support. We can give you a lot of things. All right? But that's all. There has to be a beginning. And the beginning is like a cleansing of the soul. You ever heard of that? You cleanse your soul of all your evils, and good will surely follow. And there's got to be some good in your life down the road, right? And I don't know what's going to happen. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. But what I'm going to say to you right now is that as a parent, nobody is going to respect you with the I don't know story. All right. So I want you to just think for a minute with me. All right. Think about little things that could have happened. Think about little things that did happen. All right. Tell me some of the what you think could have happened to her that night when she's laying in that crib next to you. What could have happened? It's a short little time period, right? 4 to 7, right?
Yeah.
3 little hours.
Yeah, I was.
Right? 3 little hours. What could have happened?
One of them could have come in.
No, they didn't come in. All right. They didn't. You know them better than that. They didn't come in and hurt that baby. And even if they did, you think the bruises were going to show up in less than 3 hours like that? Right? You know better than that. So let's talk about one, what did happen. Tell me one, not the hole, not the porch. Tell me one more, what did happen to her. Tell me one more. I know there's one more. There has to be. Remember the story about the fight between the 2 guys? There's his side, and somewhere in the middle there's always the truth, right? So Aaliyah's dead. You're saying you don't know what happened. And somewhere in there is the truth about it. And that's all I'm asking you for. I'm asking you for some truth. I'll go out and I'll be Aaliyah's voice for you. I can do that. But I sure as hell don't mind. But I gotta hear it. I gotta know what I'm saying. I just can't go make crap up. I do that enough, they don't believe me. Right? So you tell me one truth. What did happen to Aaliyah? Tell me.
I did spank her, but I didn't hit her head. I spanked her on the leg. That's it.
Right? That's good. That's a start. Right? That's one good truth.
That's all I did.
Right? So you put her in bed about 4 o'clock, or you get her out of bed about 4 o'clock, and what'd you spank her for? Was she being bad?
She was whining and crying. I didn't want her to wake up the girls who had school.
Right.
And I was telling her to be quiet and, shushing her and trying to get her to calm down and go back to sleep.
Right.
And she wouldn't go to sleep. And I'm like, Aaliyah, do you want to spank it? She's like, no.
Well, of course not. What 2.5-year-old wants a spanking?
And I told her that if she didn't stop whining, she would get a spanking. She wouldn't stop whining, so I tapped her on the leg
You whacked her.
And I
Sure.
put her back in bed.
So you didn't rock her gently, like you told me earlier.
After I spanked her, I did, because I knew I had hit her too hard on the leg, and I was apologizing to her because I knew that Mommy wasn't supposed to hit her that hard.
Right. And you had a bad night. It's not your fault that you had a bad night. You started out with really good intentions. It sounded like you didn't want Jason around if he smoked, smoking spice, right?
Yeah.
You're trying to create a good life for you and your family. And it started out well. It took a terrible turn. And God knows it didn't have to happen that way. God knows it didn't have to happen. But it did. Right. So that was one. You woke her up. You gave her a spanking. You didn't rock her as gently as you thought you were rocking her. Tell me one more what could have happened. Remember, there's always a little bit more.
I didn't do anything else after I put her in bed. That's it.
It's, 8:30, 9 o'clock now. The detectives and deputies have been talking to you since about 8 o'clock this morning. And at no time have you ever told them that you woke Aaliyah up at 4 o'clock in the morning and then spanked her for whining because you woke her up. Have you?
She woke up when I came into the room.
Well, how'd she? Why? Because you were still ranting and raving a little bit, maybe?
No.
No, you're pretty calm then?
Yeah.
Right. Probably not still at where you should have been, calm, but probably still pretty pissed off.
I was upset, yeah.
Your boyfriend left you.
But I wasn't so angry to the point where I would take that on her. I would never take it out on her. I would walk away first.
I know that you wouldn't when you were your normal self. You probably wouldn't. But I've seen enough people who get themselves in situations that they don't know how to cope. They kind of lose sight of what they're supposed to be doing. Both parents, dads and moms, all right? And they do things that they may not normally do, not realizing they're spanking the baby too hard. They're rocking the baby too hard. They put the baby in the crib a little too hard. It's not uncommon. It happens way more than you or I could ever believe. It does happen. The biggest thing is that sometimes it causes some serious injuries. Sometimes the babies live. Sometimes they have small little medical problems. Sometimes they're just fine afterwards. Unfortunately, in this case, after this happened with you and Aaliyah died. You look me straight in the eye and you tell me the answer to this question. Did you mean for Aaliyah to die?
I didn't do it.
I'm asking you one question. Did you mean for Aaliyah to die?
I never wanted her to die. I don't want her to die. I still want her here.
I do too, honey. I do too. I wish she was here with us, but she's not. And we can't keep trying to push the blame off on everybody else when it's not anyone else. You and I are sitting right here, and we know that what happened it's sad. It's sad. But nobody else did it to her. All right? Nobody else did.
I didn't do it.
Well, I mean, that's just all a matter of, do you want to believe you or not? I think that you're wanting to make yourself believe that you didn't kill her.
I didn't kill her. I never laid a hand on her.
Well, you did. You spanked her.
Well, that was it.
Right? Oh, you gently put her in the crib.
Yes,
Oh,
I would never throw her down.
And you gently rocked her.
Yeah.
Right. And this all happened as a result of that. Did she have any of the bruises on her then?
Mm-hmm.
What bruises were on her? Show me on her face where the bruises were.
She had the bruises in the group here, and then she had faint ones, little tiny faint ones here and over here, and her lip was swollen and her cheek was swollen, and she also had a line bruise that looked like a stick or something was taken to her, and on her, she had that on her leg. She had red marks all up and down her arms. She had this weird, it almost looked like a square. I'm not sure how exactly to describe it, but it was a red line like this, and the rest was white.
Right.
And she had little nicks and stuff all over her chest, and I looked at her back, and she had the little brown dots all up and down her spine. They were centrally located around her spine. She had red marks on her back surrounding them. Brian had said when he cleaned her ears, he went like this and folded her ears forward to keep the hydrogen peroxide in there.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that he didn't press very hard, but I could tell with how bruised her one ear was, he was pushing too hard on her ear.
It could have.
And
it could have. You saw all of that on her. And I'm not going to pull these out. But you saw all of this and thought she would be okay? Are you serious? Are you serious?
Because all I saw was the marks on her forehead. I didn't see any.
No, you just told me you saw all the marks down her back. You saw all the bruises on that little baby's face. You saw the cuts on her lips. You saw the swelling. You saw the big square mark on her stomach. You saw everything. And you made a conscious decision not to take her to the hospital. Why? Tell me, Chelsea.
I honestly was scared that I was going to get in trouble because that's what I was told.
Look, you're not stupid, right? You're not a stupid girl. And Brian and Cassie can tell you all the stuff they want to in the world. You're not a dumb girl. You knew that if you hadn't done anything wrong, you wouldn't get in trouble, right? You knew if you did do something wrong, you'd get in trouble, right? As any little kid, they get in trouble, they do something wrong, they're going to pay the consequences, right? Get their hand smacked, get their butt smacked, get put in the corner for timeout, whatever their parents do. And you knew that was going to happen to you. And what exactly were you going to get in trouble for?
The bruises.
Mm-hmm.
Even my...
So let's start with the picture. Are you sticking to how this bruise happened? How did that bruise get there?
She hit her head.
She hit her head on what? On a bookcase. And how did that bruise happen?
She ran into a drawer. Cassie even said she did.
Right. Wow. And all of this. You're sticking with that stuff that you told me earlier.
This, I couldn't tell you. Because I found it when I got home.
Right.
For my doctor's appointment. That's when I found the cut on her lip. And the swelling in the cheek. And under the eye. Because she obviously didn't cover herself.
Right. Maybe not. But I can only base what I'm telling you about Brian and Cassie on what the other detectives are telling me. And they're pretty jam up and jelly type. They've been doing this a while too. They don't get a lot of BS past them. All right? We don't pick slugs to come into our unit. All right? We pick qualified, damn good interviewers and investigators. So, you kind of tell us a little bit, and we go out and we pick your story apart. And right now it's pretty picked. I mean, you're in the hot seat. And I want to help you. I want to help pass the word along to get the right people in place for a support group for you. But I'm not going to do that. And you sit here and tell me that she ran into a fish tank and bruised her head like that. Because that's crud. Crud. And you know it. And I've asked you a couple of times. Don't be afraid. All right? Don't be afraid. Don't be intimidated. You're here because you want to tell us the truth. I know that's why you're here. You want us to know exactly what happened. You got to tell me, Chelsea. You got to tell me the truth. You only told me half truths. You only told me little truths, maybe. You didn't tell me the whole truth.
I would never
Nope.
be here today.
Nope.
I
Nope.
never.
Can't say never at this point in time because what's done is done. So we can't say never. We can say I didn't intentionally hurt her. I don't think I didn't mean for that.
I didn't lay a hand on her. I
Huh?
swear to you. I told you everything that happened.
Okay. All right. Well, this is what I'm gonna do. Give me Junior. Take him with me. I'm very sorry for your baby. I'm sorry that you're not a mother enough to admit to what happened to her.
I
I'm just
told
saying.
you what happened to her.
I'm sorry. I'm not going to buy for 1 second she ran into a drawer and did that to her head. I'm not going to buy it. Okay? I've seen enough kids run around and run into the side of block walls and have less injury than that. She's a tiny little thing. All right? She's tiny.
Yeah, like I'm really gonna beat my child though.
No one from this agency has said you beat your child. Okay? Nobody. And if they have, you let me know who they are and I'll straighten their butts out. The only thing we've said is she didn't get those injuries on her own. And I don't believe that Brian or Cassie, either one, did them. And there's only 3 of you. And that leaves you, Chelsea. That leaves Mama. Mama who wants to say, I got PTSD, I got PMDD, I got every other little acronym in the world that I can think of. All right? You throw them out there and you try to find something to place the blame on. But the blame lies squarely on your shoulders. The blame lies squarely with you. That baby's perfectly fine one day and dead the next. And the only common denominator in the whole thing is you. You didn't take her to the hospital. You knew she was injured. You watched her sit there in pain and virtually watched her die. And did nothing. Not lift a finger to help her out.
And I admit
That's a
that
good
I was
mother.
wrong.
No, that's not wrong. That's kind of sick. So I asked you earlier, what should Detective Foss and Carreras do with you? Give me an idea what you think they should do with you. I mean, certainly not Mother of the Year candidate, right? No. So what do you think should happen right now? Because I'm hoping that Detective Foss is back and he'll be able to come in and talk to you maybe if you still want to. But what should I tell him you think should be done right now?
I know I need help.
Right. I think that's probably a true statement. You know what? You ever listen to what people go through with AA or Narcotics Anonymous, Alcohol Anonymous? You ever deal with anybody in any of those groups? No? You know, the first thing, Alcohol Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous, first thing to helping yourself is admitting that you have a problem. It's number one. You can't get help as an alcoholic unless you admit that you're an alcoholic. You can't get help as a narcotics user unless you admit that you use narcotics. And you're in the same boat. You can't get help for what's happened until you admit to what's happened. Okay, it doesn't work. The system doesn't work that way. I mean, no counselor is going to come in and be able to say, well, she never admitted to, doing anything to her child, but she's cured. So we don't have any concerns anymore. No, that's not going to happen. Does that make sense? Talk to me.
There's nothing to say.
What do you want me to tell Detective Foss? I'm just going to walk out. I'm going to find him and I say, Chelsea says this is what you should do with her right now.
I honestly want to go home.
Okay, that's what I'll tell him.
So that's the end of her police interview. It was revealed she actually headbutted her child, cracked her skull against the wall. Yes, headbutted. Why? Because she's just a fucking idiot. What other reason would there be? Chelsea was sentenced to 30 years in prison.